Welcome in.
Let's get to work.
The fastest growing sports spectacular. It's the Big E Sports Show. Your 1 hour comprehensive expose of all things in the sports universe. With a focus on some of the biggest sports icons on the planet. Now, here's your host, the one and only award-winning Elissa Walker Campbell.
Hey, welcome back to the Big E Sports Show. I am Elissa Walker Campbell. Night one of the 2026 NFL Draft is now in the books. And joining us is Super Bowl winning coach, Pro Football Hall of Famer, the great Dick Vermeil. Happy Friday, Coach.
Oh, happy to you too. Yeah, it's a nice Friday here in Pennsylvania. Beautiful weather today.
Fantastic. Well, the draft always reveals how teams view the future of their franchise. And last night, that future started with Fernando Mendoza going number 1 overall. From a coach's perspective, what impressed you the most about his journey and just the way that he earned that top spot?
Well, what it demonstrated for me was how important it is for a quarterback to be in a great system with depth on the offensive team, personnel around him equivalent to his talent that allow him to play at the level that he played at. You know, because he didn't do that before he got to Indiana.
Yeah.
Okay. He played okay, but not first round pick. Okay, so I think that really magnifies how important it is to surround a quarterback with great personnel so he can be as good as he has the ability to be. And then secondly, be in a system that suits him and fits him and allows him to perform at his best level. So that was very impressive. I don't think I ever seen that happen before.
Well, being selected number 1 overall brings enormous expectations. So let's talk about that, because when we look at Fernando, what traits tells you that he's got the makeup to succeed and to grow as an NFL franchise quarterback? What do you see? Well,
first, he's accurate. He's accurate in a wide variety of throws, short, medium, and long. He throws well under pressure. And I am no expert on this guy, okay? I'm a football fan now. When I see a little college football. But I know what everybody else says. I know what I read. And I've seen the highlights on him, and I've seen him play in big games. But I never saw him on the practice field. But obviously, right now, he's doing everything right. And when you win the awards that he has won, it's hard to be wrong. Now, there have been a lot of guys at that position fail, but more often than not, the reason they fail is they're not in a good system with a great quarterback coaching and a great personnel offensive staff. And but right now, I'd say the other quality about him is he seems to be a very humble kid, very humble. You know, like he didn't come to the draft. He stayed home with his family and was introduced that way.
Yeah.
And so I think there's some great character traits within him that'll transfer to teammates in the huddle. So, right now, he just hope very much for his sake he is good as they think he is somewhere down the road.
Well, Dick, you have worked and developed so many great quarterbacks throughout your career. Of course, we think about Kurt Warner, but the biggest adjustment, what do you think that's going to be for a young rookie quarterback like Fernando Mendoza? What's he going to face in that first year in the NFL?
Well, the volume of offense is much greater, and the speed of the game is greater. There isn't anybody on defense that can't run, okay? They can all run. He used to throw balls in college. The linebacker couldn't get there, or the safety couldn't get there. In the NFL, they get there. It's a faster game, and the pass rush is more intense all the way across the line. But obviously, he's demonstrated that he can handle that kind of stuff at the college level. I believe he'll be successful handling that stuff as he gets in the NFL as well. And, the Raiders have had trouble with quarterbacks. The history is not good. But Brady being there, I think will be a very, very, very positive influence, not only on the quarterback, but on the offense.
Just a moment ago, we were talking about expectations. What do you think about Clint Kubiak's system and just how Fernando will acclimate?
I like it very, very much because I know where it all originated. Okay.
Yeah.
Mike Shanahan. Okay. And Shanahan originated with Bill Walsh as an offensive coach a long time ago before he became a head coach. So there's a deep history to the scheme, and the evolution of the scheme has been outstanding and very functional for a quarterback. There have been quarterbacks that have not played well on other teams and get there, like at the Rams, like at Minnesota, like at Seattle, that have failed other places, and all of a sudden they're playing extremely well. Backup quarterbacks as well. So I think the system with a Kubiak will bring with him will be very beneficial to their quarterback.
You are listening to the familiar voice on the Big E Sports Show. That is Super Bowl champion, Pro Football Hall of Famer, the great Dick Vermeil, joining us as we recap round one of the NFL draft. And we've hit on expectations for Fernando Mendoza. But as a coach, take us inside that huddle. I mean, take us inside the locker room. What advice specifically would you give Mendoza about managing pressure while allowing himself the time to develop, the time to grow as an NFL quarterback?
Well, I think the first thing he's got to be is himself. You drafted him because you already know him pretty good. You've interviewed him. You spent time. You've watched every game he played. You've talked to coaches that have coached him. You've talked to friends. You've talked to everybody. But to come to Las Vegas and be who you are. Don't become a superstar in your mind. Just be humble and be open for new learning. Expect pressure and handle it well. And don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't expect too much from yourself. Don't be disappointed when it doesn't go well, because you're going to have bad days. Use bad days as an ally to help you get better. Correct your mistakes daily and go out on the practice field the next day and do better the next day when you didn't do well the day before. And that's all common sense principles. And I don't think it's overlooked in very few NFL teams.
Well, when people talk about Fernando Mendoza, they often mention the fact that, I mean, Dick, he wasn't heavily recruited coming out of high school. He has had to prove himself along the way. Does that journey, does it remind you of Kurt Warner and the way he fought for his opportunity before becoming a Super Bowl quarterback for you?
Oh, sure. It really does. Yeah, there are guys like that. What they need is an opportunity and time, and Kurt, he didn't start in college until his senior year, okay? And then he goes to the Green Bay Packers and doesn't last. And then he goes to the Arena League and develops some confidence. And he was in a system on a small indoor fields that you had to throw the ball extremely quick, and he honed his skills there. And then we gave him an opportunity to prove he could play in the NFL, and he went way beyond expectations. It's tougher on a guy like Fernando because the expectations are great. We did not have expectations for Kurt Warner.
Well, and quarterbacks who have had to, I would say, fight for every opportunity early in their careers, wouldn't you agree? I mean, they develop a different kind of toughness. Do you think that Fernando Mendoza's path could shape him just the same way that it did for Kurt Warner?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do. And there are always things that surprise you. There's things that people do that you think they could do better when you drafted them, and you get them and you find out they're not quite as good. And also you bring them in and you find out they're better than you thought they were. Hey. Usually that doesn't happen with a first round pick, but it happens as you go through the draft in the lower rounds. All of a sudden you find a guy, Puka Nacua, wasn't one first round pick. He might be the best receiver in football. And, Kurt Warner wasn't a first round pick, and he's ended up being a Hall of Fame quarterback. So you're very fortunate when that happens. It doesn't happen very often. But, Fernando right now, the expectations will be so great. It's going to be critical that he handles those properly emotionally.
Dick Vermeil with us on the Big E Sports Show. Now we're going to shift gears a bit. I want to pull back the curtain and let's talk a little bit about draft preparation. Back to your days. In the weeks leading up to the NFL draft, I mean, what does that process look like inside a front office? And how much of it is, scouting reports versus debate and discussion amongst your staff, Coach?
Well, they come in a month early. You'll spend maybe 3 weeks every day going over every position. You have all the scouts in off the road, and they're presenting their opinions, and it's all going to the personnel director and general manager and the ranking players as you go along. Coaching staff is in every meeting. For example, when you're talking defensive linemen, the defensive line coaches meeting is along with the defensive coordinator, and you discuss every deal, every detail. And it's a never-ending process. It just keeps on. In fact, sometimes it almost you get too much. You get so much information you can't use it all.
Oh, Yeah, I'm sure it's overwhelming. And I can only wonder what that was like for you on draft night when the unexpected happens and a player you value highly suddenly falls on the board. I mean, how quickly do you have to reassess your strategy? And you got to pivot, right, Coach?
Oh, yeah. With my experiences in drafts, 19 years of drafts, there's always surprises. There's always disappointments. And there's always statements made after the draft. Boy, I'm sure lucky to get that guy. I thought he was going to go early. Go earlier. Yeah, and that they're almost patting themselves on the back for getting somebody that was supposed to go earlier, and for some reason the other people didn't draft him. But, there was some surprise. The Rams picking a quarterback. But I can understand that because they're a quarterback developing team. And they do a wonderful job with their quarterbacks there. And their quarterback's getting older. So that didn't surprise me as much as I heard on the radios this morning, listening to different talks, the NFL channel and that kind of stuff, the Sirius radio. What a surprise that was. Knowing the Ram staff, head coach and that really didn't surprise me as much.
Hey, we are winding down our time with Super Bowl winning coach, the great Dick Vermeil. And you got to talk to our fans that are tuning in. If you could give them some advice on watching the draft, how to evaluate these players realistically. I mean, what would you say on how to remember just how unpredictable player development it really can be?
Well, that's hard to say. I looked at that last night and I couldn't believe the audience in person at that place. I mean, it was a zoo. It was a zoo. There were so many people there.
I know.
And they're all emotionally involved with their teams. And it's an outlet for them.
Uh-huh.
It's an outlet for them. And it's great that they identify with the teams like that. But you've got to be prepared for disappointments. You've got to be prepared for surprises. And I think all the teams try to do a very, very good job with the people that support them. Some of them don't even have season tickets or go to games, but they still support them. They wear their hat, they wear their shirts. You don't go anywhere anymore. You don't see NFL shirts and hats on people, no matter what airport you're in. And they may not even have a pro football team in that city. The NFL has become so big. But I'm happy that it is that way because it gives so many people an outlet from their daily routine, something to get emotionally involved in and to really care about. And it makes a little difference in their life.
Absolutely. It brings us, all of us as fans, a lot of joy. Hey, give a shout out to the Chiefs. And how is your dear friend Andy Reid? Are y'all going to get together this summer, maybe go on a fishing trip or do something special, Coach?
No, I'm coming into Kansas City to do a Vermeil wine event with the rest of the company.
Nice.
At Jasper's Restaurant in Kansas City on Monday night, May 18th. And I'm coming in to help put that on, and I'll see Andy that weekend when I'm there. Yeah, I look forward to it. I'll be with Carl Peterson. A lot of my former players are coming, so I'm excited about that. It'll be sort of a reunion as well.
Absolutely. And, of course, go to vermeilwines.com and you can check it all out. Well, Coach, safe travels, and we look forward to another conversation. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Say hello to the boys for me.
I will do that. Thank you.
Bye-bye.